Good morning. It's about I think 5 something, like 5:30, and today I'm packing up to leave to go home. But what I'm going to do while I'm packing, because I don't have a lot of time this morning, is we're going to talk about our topic today, and that is why you should not wait until you're ready to do things. So I'm going to turn this way. Actually, I'll just walk out of the room. I'll turn you with me over to the kitchen while I'm making my coffee. And this is my kitchen in my house in Baja. We are going to chat a little bit about doing things that you might be afraid of, or just kind of jumping in the pool before you can swim. I've done this in so many ways. This is going to be a little loud. For instance, sounds like I'm peeing. Walking in before you run is important, but sometimes you need to run before you walk. So I'm doing that with this YouTube channel. I didn't feel ready to start necessarily, and I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and start. Because if I don't start, maybe I never will. And I think that's so true with anything in life. We have, the sound is so funny. This is our auto. I wish you could see it here. There's like a little water jug over here, and it has like an auto filter on the top of it. So that's the sound you're hearing. Anyway, we need to get going on whatever it is that we think we may want to do in life. Because oftentimes, if we never do it, we never know. And if we never know, then how do we know what our life's purpose is? So I like to try different things and just kind of feel them out and see how they go, because it's fun, right? It's fun to be able to experiment and to kind of dive into various aspects of things you might want to do, like YouTube, or like, let's see, what else have I done lately? Instagram. I remember when I first started that, it was so fun. I lived on Nantucket, and I started my Instagram, and I just loved sharing all my travel journeys, and I did it mostly for myself. So that's the other purpose in this, is what would you want to look back at as like maybe a life log, or read back on, if you're a writer, for example. I oftentimes will go back to my Instagram and I'll scroll all the way to the beginning, which is so many posts ago, and I'll just look through it. And it makes me so happy to see all the things that I've done in the past, the places I've traveled to, the things I've written. It just makes me feel so happy. So, yeah, I kind of jumped into the pool before I could swim there too. I did the same thing with video. When I started and there's a video about my story of how I started, but I didn't know, I have long hair here. I didn't know there were so many things that would go into my first video, my first documentary that I made in Bali. And I just jumped in and I started learning from a mentor. And then when I went to film my first documentary, I had no idea what I was doing. Not no idea. I had been training, but only for like 6 months. And I remember editing that. Oh my goodness. It took me like 4 months to edit a 20-minute video that I was trying to create. And it still wasn't my best work, but at that time, it was the best thing that I could have done, and the best story that I could have told. And I'm so proud of it still to this day. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start and take a step in a direction that is calling you. So if I were to tell you, if you were asking me, what do I do to take that first step? I'm not sure. I don't know what I want to do. Sit down and journal every single morning. Write in your journal just freely if you're not sure. Pick a topic. Use Claude. I use AI every single morning to write things, to get writing prompts for myself. When I'm feeling stuck, I'll dive in and say, hey, Claude, I don't feel anything coming to me to write about. Can you, based on our chat history and what you know about me, give me 3 questions that will help me go deeper, like really deep into my life, and something to write about or noodle on. And that's always really helpful. Sometimes I just write something like, I am grateful for these 3 things. But that can help you get a lot closer to what you want in life. Using AI has been just a game changer in terms of saving time on things as well, which is a whole other topic. But stepping into something that is unknown to you and trying it is so important, because I still have eye crusties this morning. I literally just rolled out of bed. If we don't take the steps to step in to who we could be, then we just are never trying. We have to try new things. We have to be okay with failure. If you remember when you were a baby, can you imagine if you tried walking once only and then you fell and you were like, I don't think I can do this? You would have never learned to walk. We need to think of ourselves like babies again. We try to take the first step and we fall down. We try again. Maybe it doesn't work. It takes a long time sometimes. But thinking of the things that you want to try, you're not going to be perfect at them the first try. Even in functional medicine and studying that, I remember how hard it felt to learn all of the stuff that I was learning. At first, I forget there's like a curve chart thing that I can't remember the name of who did it, but it's like there's this big hill and you're like at the beginning, I know nothing. And then you go up the hill and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. And then all of a sudden it gets like, whoa, there's actually a lot more to this. And you're like down in this valley and you're thinking like, I just don't understand what is going on. There's like so much to understand and know. And then you start climbing back up again. And then you really start to understand how everything fits together. And I remember in school being in that valley and being like, I don't know if I can do this. This is so hard. And then I got it, and then I understood it. But what's interesting about functional medicine is that every time I coach someone, everyone's so different. And it doesn't matter if you have the same disease or the same autoimmune disease or the same diagnoses. Everybody, the way that they got there, because everyone's life is unique, is so very different from the next, that you have to dive in with a unique lens. But foundationally, there are so many things that people are missing and that they haven't really actually done, like drink water or get enough sleep or, something like that. I'm going to make some eggs. Speaking of, almost forgot to make my breakfast. I'm going to have a little later breakfast before I leave of yogurt. But we're going to start with a savory egg breakfast. So question I want you to ask yourself today is, what is it that I may be holding myself back from trying because I'm afraid I'm going to fail? And I'm afraid that like, oh no, I don't know this very well, or I just don't know if I can do it. I want you to get past your fears, because the people that make a real difference in other people's lives are the ones that try before they are ready. All right, I'm going to let you go so I can make my breakfast. Have a good day, guys.